As you may have noticed, I have not been blessed with like a ton of muscle. Like I'm a tall, skinny guy. I used to fight at 145 pounds. So I generally have like a reach and a height advantage on most people. And I think what's beautiful about jiu-jitsu and all of the martial arts is that there's no one body type that's necessarily better than others. It's more about like how you use what you got. So I have these long ropey arms and I'm perfectly built for like guillotine chokes. And so I've developed over time, we kind of jokingly call it the Galka. It's just a little bit of a standing guillotine variation that I like to use. And I've used it to finish 2 MMA fights, so it definitely works, okay? A couple things we want to keep in mind when we're doing a standing guillotine, because we're not going to have a lot of control of the hips, is we want to exert downward pressure on the neck, and our choking arm is going to do 2 things. Nutcracker, cigar cutter. Okay, so there's 2 things that are happening. Elbow to ribs, we call that the nutcracker, and then the arm coming across the body, cigar cutter. Okay, so those 2 motions with some downward pressure, you can put a lot of pressure on somebody's neck. We're gonna go into a setup for the guillotine choke after this, but the mechanics of the standing guillotine are pretty detailed, so we wanna really focus on that. So we're gonna start with that guillotine choke. This is no arm on the guillotine choke. Wrapping as deep as we can. If I need to grab my wrist and thread it a little bit deeper, I'm gonna do that. Elbow to ribs, applying pressure like we're trying to crack his head open like a nut. And now my support arm is gonna thread my arm across. So that's the cigar cutter motion. So nutcracker, cigar cutter, and I'm gonna drop my armpit on the neck as I squeeze. Right.
One more time.
And a nice little detail here, especially if you're in like an MMA situation, is once we get this set up, we want to circle them around and run them into the cage. And this sort of the pressure here is a lot like a mounted guillotine, right? They're not going to be able to back out, so we get a lot of pressure there when we get their hips up against the cage.
That's brutal, and that's a great detail. Good stuff, man. We're going to be back in 2 seconds with one more video. Thank you.